I can honestly say that it makes gaming more exciting than it's ever been. Ever. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
What are they saying on the street?
Welcome, crew. Sorry, I had to get these people to rile down for just enough. And as soon as I'm starting the introductions, like, strange enough, we're not seeing each other on video. I'm nauseated by the fact that, like, the shirt color I picked for today matches Brian's Knicks gear. And I'm
big Giants fan.
I'm offended.
Baby.
I was going more
Same.
for the Phillies blue, but now I'm disgusted. Thanks.
Sorry, it does look weird. It does look weird. Steve Smeagol's avatar just staring at us.
What are you guys talking about?
All right. Let's
we get the mouth to move. Let's animate it. It would be amazing.
This is beyond my capacity now. All right. Well, hey, welcome.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Well, welcome everybody to the second Video Game Book Club discussion group. The first session covered The Last of Us Part 2. Today, we are discussing Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, the 2007 entry for the PlayStation 3. Before I talk about that, though, let's introduce our panel for today. On the top left of your screen, you will see the one and only Joel Willis, the founder, the programmer, the everything of Channel 3, found at c3.gg/Joel. Say hi, everybody, Joel.
Hello, everybody, Joel. What's going on, guys? I'm happy to be here. I see Jay Davies in the chat. I want to acknowledge something real quick before we get into the book club discussion. Jay Davies has sent me a package of, I'm pretty sure this is groceries, honestly. And I just want to acknowledge, Jay Davies, that I have it. I just haven't opened it yet. But I will.
It's been like 3 weeks.
I'm pretty sure.
Remember, the key is you're not listening for ticking. You're looking for oily residues and wires. That's what you're looking for. In this
just don't say anthrax again 30 times, Joel, when you open it.
Oh yeah, I get flagged again. No, I'm pretty sure it's everything bagel seasoning, which is amazing. I have a new everything bagel seasoning.
I have some of that. It's the best. I put it on everything. It's so good.
He sent it to me because I post about it. I pour it into my hand and then I just like eat a little bit at a time out of my hand.
When we make homemade pizza, you put some butter and some seasoning and you brush it around. It's delicious.
No way.
So good for the crust. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on, Dan. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
Dan,
we lost Dan. We lost Dan.
You know what happened? Dan didn't unmute. Dan was sitting in awe of the everything bagel seasoning.
You don't have to mute. Just keep your mouth shut.
I do have to mute. Listen, I live in a place of chaos. You never know who's going to come.
Breather.
You're not going to know who's going to come wandering into a room or something, right? You got to be careful.
No, anyway, you're fine. You're fine.
That voice you hear, our own personal Muppet, Brian McGuinness, comedian, voice actor, writer, reviewer extraordinaire. I do recommend everybody take a look at his recent review of Kudzu, inspired by the Game Boy dungeon exploration games a la Link's Awakening. They've made a cartridge. That was the coolest part about that, Brian. They made a cartridge for it.
Yeah. I have an Epic's collection review coming soon, too, by the way. I like it. Hey, everybody. I'm Brian. What's up?
Hey, Brian.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
We also have with us our resident Uncharted expert. He's here. We are the holder of multiple platinums in the series. The one who's willing to take everything on extreme. Darth Smeagol.
Very impressive.
Glad to be here.
The victim of for this. Now, I do have to. This is the point where I'm going to give everybody the reminder. We are going to be spoiling this. At the top of your screen, there's a reminder. Yeah. There will be spoilers. Not that this is the most extreme of spoiling of games, but I'll say the last quarter of this game takes a turn.
It's been out for 30 years. It's your own fault at this point.
Drake's Fortune, 2007. PlayStation was out for just a year at this point. So a year into the life cycle of the PlayStation 3. Going to shout out some of our voice actors here. Nolan North as Nathan Drake. Emily Rose as Elena Fisher. Richard McGonigal as Victor Sully Sullivan. And more. I'm going to shout out, whether you like it or not, Brian, one Yuri Lowenthal.
They're good.
For his performance as Group of Mercenaries number 6. My man.
Sure.
Spider-Man himself.
I did not know that.
Look at that.
Only because I was looking at, I make sure I'm prepared, because I did want to talk beforehand. I do want to shout this one out because there was a lot of conversation about the creatives behind Last of Us. A little different here. Amy Hennig is the director, because what happens is I think everything gets sucked up in Naughty Dog and a Druckmann's orbit. And I want people to understand, no, this isn't Druckmann here. This is Amy Hennig, who won multiple awards, frankly, for Uncharted 2. So BAFTAs, Writers Guild of America, like real legit awards. She did the Legacy of Kain series. She did 3 of those. She did 3 of the Uncharted games, and then went over to the land of we're going to announce projects that never come to fruition. Took on a Star Wars game that that got canceled in 2019 after considerable time and announcements, much like half of their movie slate. So be it. But
Still
Brian,
disappointed about that one.
do you know 2 of her early contributions in the 16-bit realm? Desert Strike and none other than Michael Jackson, Chaos in the Windy City.
Michael Jordan, first of all,
Michael
big
Jordan.
difference.
Jesus, right.
I was intrigued. Like, I'll play a Michael Jackson game. Sign me
Oh my
up.
God! Yeah,
That's
well,
cool.
there is the Moonwalker game. But
Yes.
I mixed them up in my head. my
She
God.
made Chaos in the Windy City, which is a pretty bad game, by the way. It's not good. But that's really interesting. I love when you find out that people that are huge now, made their first game was like pretty dumb or bad. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I want that in perspective for us. Because again, you talk about Legacy of Kain came in, it was doing its own thing, but I feel like there was a seismic shift. We picked Uncharted for a reason, and I'm going to stop there with kind of the background conversation. Just ask Brian. You could start off. What was your prior experience with the game, with Uncharted?
Nothing, because I remember there was a gap sort of when I didn't get the PS3 at launch, right? And I remember I got a brand new, huge 40-inch Sony HD TV, and it came like a bundle at Best Buy with the PS3 and the Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man Blu-ray and Uncharted. I think it was like maybe a choice of like 1 or 2 or 3 games, and I chose Uncharted. It looked kind of cool. And man, it's synonymous with the PS3 for me, Uncharted 1, because I remember just playing it all the time, and that the opening menu theme music is so iconic to me. It just boom instantly. That is like the PS3 to me. Like as far as the Mario music is Nintendo music, that Uncharted menu song is the PS3 for me. And I remember just the way it looked blew my mind, because I was coming from a PS2 and a Wii, and it was just like, oh, it's never getting better than this. This is the peak of video games right here. And it's such a cool game. It's a fun game. It, just everything that the PS3 had to offer at that time. And you see as the series goes on how much better it gets. But Uncharted 1 is just awesome for me. It brings back such a good memory of that time in my life, like 07, when I got a PS3 and a TV, and I was living on my own in Queens and all that stuff. It was a fun time.
How soon before the TV got stolen is the question then? Living in Queens.
I still have that TV. Why would it get stolen?
No reason, Brian. No reason. All right, moving on. All right, Darth Smeagol. So our resident, as I mentioned, Uncharted expert, played everything there is to play multiple times for Uncharted. Where did you start with Uncharted here?
I had friends that had played the game, and they talked about it a lot. And I finally, because I've been a Nintendo guy, I've been an Xbox guy, and finally it was because of Uncharted that I switched from Xbox to PlayStation.
Love it.
And I didn't even get the PS3 until the PS4 was already out. Got Uncharted 1 and 2, started playing through them, and yeah, I just fell in love with the series. And I mean, I like you said, I played through it multiple times. And the first one, I played through enough times that I even did it the speed run, just so I could get that extra trophy.
Oh, because there's a couple
Did you
levels
know-
you have to do that
did-
with, right?
No, you have to beat the entire game
Oh my
in
God.
a certain amount of time in order to get an achievement on the PS4 remastered version.
That's impressive as shit.
I'm
That's
out.
crazy.
And you have to do
Smeagol,
it. And you have to do it as Donut Drake too.
oh, that's right. As Fat Skin Drake.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you know the story ahead of time, since you waited so long to get? Like, did you know what was going to happen, or was it all like, oh, this is cool? Like when you like, Did you first discover as you went along?
I didn't know anything about it. I discovered it as I went along.
You just knew your friends played it, but you didn't know the whole story type of thing.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Nice. I played this last run through on easy, and I was still throwing my controller towards the end of how hard it got out of nowhere.
I had to lower my difficulty to hard at the end just to get through it.
So Joel, the newest to the PlayStation gang. So how did this happen for you? Was this because the group put it out there? Was this a PlayStation icon? What was your knowledge through the course of time as you've been in and out of video games and ended up here?
I think it's hilarious to contrast your guys' experience with mine because I had no experience with this game going into it. I think I'm the only one of us four who's playing it for the first time, right?
Yeah.
I feel like how my kids must feel when I tell them like, "Oh, you gotta watch this movie. You gotta experience this piece of entertainment," but they have absolutely like zero nostalgia for it, and then they're like, "All right, like it's fine, I guess." I'm not saying that necessarily about Uncharted because I give it 4 stars. But yeah, I knew nothing about it. I had no experience.
Are you excited?
No nostalgia.
Are you excited to? Sorry. Are you excited to do the next one after playing the first one?
My dog's excited. I got to get her to chill for a second.
See,
Brian's already told you how good Uncharted 2. No, I'm just saying it's so good too. I'm just curious if you're still excited till it'll be like, you know what, first one was great or pretty good. Let's see how good it's like. The sequel, they nailed it. Every single part.
While he's settling the dog, that's the hardest part I had with playing the game was not wanting to get to 2. I just wanted to skip ahead to 2 again. So now that Joel's back, he can have his answer.
No. And I do think that's what was going on here, right? Because I know that the later editions or sequels of this are really strong.
Yeah.
I just got a PS5. I'm like, I got to play all these PlayStation games and I got to like get into the classics, right?
You're in a remediation program.
Real game.
Yeah, you're in summer school for video games, yeah.
Exactly.
You got to finally play real games, yeah.
We're playing real games now. No, we're on the heels of The Last of Us Part 2, which was everything Brian said it would be. So I'm just like, and more. And then even, here's my cat. It's a freaking zoo in my house, I swear to God. We watched the making of Last of Us Part 2. And, you know, they're referring to Uncharted 4, I think, in that. I'm like, man, we got to go through the whole catalog, right? Got to get through some of these greatest hits. So we just started with the first one, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna ask a question before we go into our discussion of the game itself. We're in the trust tree here, gentlemen. It's just the 4 of us. We can talk openly and honestly. I did do the whole game on normal. I passed no judgment. Again, Smeagol having platinum to this thing did it on the what is it, brutal difficulty? What's the name for it? I don't even remember what they.
Brutal's the hardest. That's the only with the remaster. Wasn't with the original. I started off on crushing.
What crush? Oh, crush. Yeah. One that's a you get nicked by a bullet and you're dead. That's
no. Oh no, brutal's the nicked by.
Oh, brutal's nicked by a bullet. I'm sorry, I get it backwards. So you did.
Yeah, I did easy.
Smeagol. So you played like 3/4 of the game still on that, right?
Yeah.
Brian, you took it on easy. Just you were playing through the story.
But I also gave myself better guns too, just because you're gonna have everything unlocked. So.
Right.
And Joel, what did you end up? What you end up doing for? Going for this?
I think I was just normal. That's usually my go-to. Just whatever the default is. I just went into normal. Yeah, and it was good. It's appropriate difficulty, I think.
I did play it on normal at first, but then to do this, I wanted to just play through it as quickly as I could, and I still messed up a lot.
Again, no judgment.
I did have trouble keeping up with you guys, so maybe I should have gone easy. But I want to ask Darth the question real quick. What do you mean by better weapons? Like, what's the best weapon? Because I loved the basic pistol. That's the best one.
There's a gold pistol you can unlock.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. And a golden AK-47, but I mainly just use the golden pistol because you have the best accuracy with the pistol.
Gotcha. Cool.
So I kind of broke the game.
I should probably try.
Go ahead, Brian. Go.
I was gonna say I should probably try crushing or brutal just once and see how fast I last. See how long I last. I think it would be like 5 minutes.
I won't make it through the opening.
I'd be so annoyed.
The main thing is like it showed in that video posted on Channel 3, you really have to use the angles. Instead of just trying to peek around corners, you actually have to just go up to the wall and just really just slightly move your gun reticle until you're on the person. And you're more likely to shoot them. And as long as your reticle's on them, you'll basically shoot through walls, and they have a harder time shooting you.
Yeah, you're very good at that. It's very impressive.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it through the opening boat battle. So the fact that you did anything is impressive. So I was going to say, so this is a little different. You know, I was joking before we started rolling. This is a little less philosophical than The Last of Us Part 2. This is more of a cinematic experience, which I think was a big seismic shift for games at the time. This was probably the first time where you like turn the game on, you're like, I'm playing a movie, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I kind of broke things up a few chapters at a time, and I just kind of want to get your thoughts on it as you're entering the world. Yeah, whether it's for the first time, whether it's for the second time, and again, like I understand that every one of these pieces of conversation, the forefront of my brain is, God, I can't wait to get to 2. So just pretend I'm saying at the beginning of every chapter, but yeah. So I kind of broke up just the tutorial level, right? The opening boat battle. You learn how to use your cover. You learn how to use your weapons and change things. Just you're opening up for the first time. You see not only that, but like you get a scope of like how big the game is when things are happening, right? When the boats are coming up and people are getting off and jumping off the boats. Just kind of like, how was your introduction to the game, letting you know what this is going to be? You're not, a little bit of Indiana Jones, a little bit of gunplay. What was the opening like, Joel? I'll let you start this off for us, since this was your recency, your recent play was a first.
Yeah, happy to. Like it is very movie like. It's like a silly shoot 'em up action movie. Right. And on the heels of like a highly emotional Last of Us Part 2, character driven, dramatic, story driven game, I was like, oh, all right. So I just roll around and shoot these people in the head. That's cool. No, but I could feel like even in that opening scene, like with the cutscenes and stuff, it's like introduce the female love interest. You're this dashing action figure star or whatever. Then you got the plane that comes in, and it's piloted by a guy named Sully, which I mentioned in the chat. It's a little on the nose for landing on the water. But no, it was fine. It was like, I see what's going to happen here. And it like kept that tone and vibe throughout the whole thing, other than the twist we'll talk about at the end.
Oh my God. You know what? I didn't even think about the fact this game's from 2007. That predated Sully, didn't it? That wasn't until like 08 or 09, was it?
It's the video game Nostradamus. It's just like the prophecy was written.
Wow.
Video game version of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Uncharted already did this. It's old.
It's funny you mentioned like you're just gonna just have some fun, shoot these guys in the head as you're all cracking jokes the whole time. This guy's like, hey Sully, this guy's don't get ahead of himself, and his head goes flying off. It's just like, you're murdering thousands of people, mate. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it's a much more light vibe to killing people versus Last of Us, where you feel every murder that you commit in that game. This is just like, whatever.
Sally was the bridesmaid at my sister's wedding and delivered my niece. Why are they no longer here? They're leaving a giant gaping hole in my life. Meanwhile, you're just cutting people down in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot him in the head, and he's like, what does he say? That's going to hurt in the morning.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Nate's got some jokes. Yeah.
Smeagol, good refresh doing the opening boat battle there?
Yeah, it's been, I think, 7 years since I played the game, so it's nice to have an opportunity to go back to it.
All right, so then
it was probably like 4 years for me since I did the first one again. So it was a while. I forgot something. I knew obviously most of it, but sometimes I forgot about that.
Whenever it was they released the collection on the 4 is when I took a crack at it again. And when I restarted it for this. I was further than I thought I was. I think it was at like 63% when I did the restart. I was like, I guess I got further than I thought, but yeah, no, I was glad to get back into it. It's always good to have that level that kind of like orients you to what you're playing again.
See, I was so late to
Yep.
the party that I got through 1 and 2 and then bought the PS4 version because I bought a PS4 and then played through them again right away.
It's cleaner. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
looking back, it doesn't look bad or anything. And again, it's to Brian's point. Like, you get that HDTV, you're getting away from those CRT TVs for the first time and getting this
I mean, just
Blu-ray
think of-
driven machine.
Did you play the
607, what that
PS3 version?
looked like.
Did you play the PS3
Yeah,
version, man?
Oh yeah, I did as well. Yes.
So I think my favorite upgrade for the remaster was they got rid of the motion controls for grenades. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was the worst part, having to flick your controller in order to throw a grenade.
Yes,
Joel,
oh my
dodged a
God.
bullet there. You dodged a
Yeah.
bullet, Joel.
I repressed
I
that.
forgot about that.
Yeah. The 6, because
I mean,
right.
that was they were pushing. They never quite figured out how to make it work with the 6-axis controller that you could. Joel, you're seeing on delayed, but like you would motion just like described and flick forward to do stuff because it was their attempt at doing some sort of like pseudo motion controls and getting you to like there were gears and stuff inside of the controller that would identify that for you. It was insane.
And they're like, well, we got to use that technology. We have to force that into the game somehow. No, I mean, I didn't have to do that, thankfully, but I think I dramatically underused grenades anyway. I wasn't really using them.
They're pretty fun.
Grenades have their moments, but I don't use them a lot.
They have their correct. There's a couple times like, oh, this will be good, but then overall, like towards the end, and that one part you're running towards like the like chapter like 19 or 20, you're running through, and there's a couple of no spoilered things, and the actual humans. You throw a few grenades in the middle of those guys, but yeah, because you don't find them that often. It seems like grenades, but yeah.
All right, so then you find yourself into the woods. Yeah, I kind of group this together. You're doing that opening introduction to the jungle. You're seeing like, okay, we got a Nazi submarine in the woods there, and kind of everything that's happening there. You're getting a feel for the world, and like whenever I picture this game, like there's certain motifs to things, and you get stuff like we were talking about Fallout before, and Fallout's got that like green, brown, gray drab to it. This is a very jungle green game, or like that dungeony stone color, and it's the green of the jungle that I have behind me right now.
Yes,
that really sticks out to me in this game. It's a very green game.
Same with that TV, that new HD TV from 06, like just popping. I remember what that looked like because the last thing I was playing was probably GTA 3 on my PS2 or a Wii game, Wii Sports or something, and then you play this and it's like, holy cow! Like GTA looked fine, but it wasn't like this beautiful scenery that the PS3 was capable of doing. I think it was a huge technical leap between the 2 and the 3, like that era, those gens of consoles, and this really showed it off. It was one of the first titles in the PS3, first big one that really showed it off very well, I thought.
It's the Nazi sub for me that stands out. That's what I always think of when I think of this first game.
Yeah,
just a random Nazi sub in the middle of the jungle.
That was
on
a cool
top
scene.
of a waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first source of my frustration in the game, when I'm trying to figure out like exactly where do I have to touch this properly so I don't go off the waterfall? Where do I have to touch this properly so I don't hit the water the wrong way? This is where this was the first spot in the game where I'm like, okay, you're climbing up the cliffside, right? And you're like, okay, where exactly? And people talk about the yellow paint of everything now. Like, oh, the markers are really obvious about where you got to go. Okay, well, then you get back to this game where like, oh no, I see ever so slightly. There's where my fingertips have to reach.
Yeah. I think they were really proud of their climbing mechanics they built at Naughty Dog for this game, because you climb everything. I think they're like, we got to show this off like constantly, and it's like there's sometimes like, all right, I get it, but there's so much climbing in this one, and 2, 3, and 4 also. There's just a lot of climbing. But it's funny, they must have thought this was like a really cool thing they developed and made, and really tried to push it in the game a lot.
I mean, it's unique. It's a unique way of navigating, right? I mean, this game it's shooting and climbing, right?
Yeah.
With occasional really simple puzzles, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, simple but non-intuitive, I feel.
Yeah,
am I the only idiot that had to look things up? Do you guys look anything up?
I was so proud I didn't look any puzzles up in this one. I will usually have to look up at least one or two.
They literally,
But,
they
you know, and
literally
they're-
give me the guide. Like you just every time I just hit the touchpad, like the answer's right there of like, okay, match the pictures up. So I never had too much trouble with them, I don't think.
It's funny when you do it and Nate's like, no, that's probably not it. Or it's like, hey, this looks right. I'm like, okay, don't touch it. He said it's right.
That's probably not
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, Nathan.
Idiot. God.
Yeah. I'm stupid.
Not exactly a legendary puzzler game. No.
Yeah. They got a little better as it goes on. Tomb Raider was more like, you know, stuff like that. But this is more, I think they got a little better as it went on, this series. But it was cool to introduce, I think. It's not just going to be running and gunning. There's some, you got to use your smarts every now and then for this game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brian, you invoked it. It's time to crack that seal. Break that seal then. You brought it up.
Okay.
Where are we at with Tomb Raider versus Uncharted?
The early ones, Tomb Raiders are garbage compared
Thank
to this.
God you said that.
Uh,
I was
if I'm being-
worried you were about to say
if I'm
something
be-
else.
No, if I'm being honest, but the reboot, I think the reboots are incredible. The last
post Uncharted.
the third one got a
reboots,
little.
yes.
Yes, the third, it was a Shadow of the Tomb Raider, got a little ridiculous if you've played through all of that one. Good game, but it got so off the rails. I think they're trying to do Uncharted in the third reboot, Tomb Raider. But the first Tomb Raider reboot from, 10 years ago, incredible. I love it. Second one's great too. Third one's good. It just got all weird.
So
I only played the
real
first
quick
one, but I
before-
loved it.
Can you guys explain the what this is? Like, is this a running debate? I've not heard this. Is it Tomb Raider versus Uncharted because they're so similar?
Kinda. Just because I think both PlayStation franchises the first, and then because you're doing similar stuff, you're running around trying to find artifacts. The story wise, but people try to compare them. But Laura's way cuter, let me tell you.
The reboot of Tomb Raider was directly tied to Uncharted's success. Also, what was it? 2013? I think it was 2013 when they rebooted
something
close
like that.
to it. Like it was, 2007. This comes out. To Brian's point, the 3 Tomb Raiders on PlayStation they're rough. They're not good. People,
they're back then fine, and they're re-releasing those again for Evercade recently, like in July, by the way. But they're just not fun like now to play. They were probably okay back then, but
they weren't
playing it now,
okay
it's like,
then either.
Yeah, they might not even been okay.
So that's all it was. Just like much like you saw, other games, other times where there's reactions to things back and forth, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened here. And you see Tomb Raider get a little more grounded, a little less ridiculous. They kind of retool, revisualize everything, and make it a little more grounded, like this. But aside from the back quarter of the game, but we'll get to that. Do we want to I kind of want to just skip ahead and talk about the river level. Yeah, I mean, like there's the fortress.
Real quick, we can't jump over this major plot point.
Uh-oh.
And I say that sarcastically.
Go ahead, do it.
Because I don't know. I'll just say this: like Sully dies, right? And if you guys didn't read the top, spoiler alert: Sully dies. He's gone, never to come back again.
Multiple times.
My reaction to that was nothing. I didn't care.
What,
did you
the
guys
10
care?
minutes you spent with him didn't emotionally build up his entire life story?
I feel like they wanted me
so
to care,
funny you say that.
but I was just like,
Yeah. That's funny you say that because it did seem like playing it this time, it seemed like it happened way faster than I remember,
Mm.
Like it happened very early in the game. You just kill this guy. It was like, oh, all right, I guess he's gone, Elena might be dead soon too, whatever. But yeah, it is. And then he, that's funny you said that because it seemed like it happened. I'm like, oh, I just started the game and who's this guy that's already dead?
Yeah, no. I mean, I was way more emotional about Elena dropping her camera than Sully getting murdered.
All that footage. Where are you gonna get that footage again?
It's gone.
What kind of professional camera woman doesn't have a strap for her camera?
Right?
I mean, that's a
Wow.
giant. Hey, back then, that was a giant ass camera, man. That was,
Yeah.
that was a very big camera. Yeah,
No camera had that much battery life back then either.
that too. One tape. Come on.
Yes,
You need multiple tapes for that.
so I hit this amalgamous blog around the fortress or blob. Like everything's just again, it just becomes colors and white and just terrible For me, again, I like it, but just like it's terrible jumping mechanics. It's that one set of posts and these spots on the walls that like I jump it perfectly and it just falls short or it doesn't catch or it doesn't, like everything's just like I want to play 2. I want to play 2 where this all works right.
And there are times where like, is that the where I'm supposed to go? And you try to jump and he makes this weird unhumanly twist with his body and he reaches that ledge. It's like, well, a real person can't do that. That's ridiculous, you know? But the game wants you to go that way, so it allows you to defy all physics and reach that platform that's above you and to the left and everything, you know?
Did anybody else get glitched in the fortress like I did? So there was a night where I spent probably 20 minutes trying to get through one of the doors. And I'm like, I swear this is where I'm supposed to be. I am supposed to be here. I see what's supposed to happen there. I'm trying to pull, and Elaine is supposed to be with me by that point, and she's just stuck wandering off somewhere else and did not keep up with me.
Yes, that I think I did. I ran away from some enemies to get some ammo, and I went like I kind of passed the scene before I was supposed to, and then you have to wait for the hint button to come up, like you push up for a hint, you know. And then I was going back and forth. And there's one part I had to like shoot a bunch of like rubble out of the way. Was it that part you're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly where it was.
Yes. I was like, what the F is going on here? Why am I stuck? That's so funny. I had the exact same thing happen.
So I turned the game off finally, and I'm like, I come back. I take like 2 days before I'm like, I'm just going to go back and figure out whatever it was I did. As soon as I turn it on, she's there and like, okay. And everything's fine. The door opens right away. I'm like, what? Why?
You know, it's funny.
I had the enemies
are still there, music playing, so I knew I messed something. I knew I couldn't find anybody, I couldn't shoot anybody, but I heard every few minutes, "Hey, there he is! Go get him!" You know, and I'm like, I can't get back to kill this guy to advance this scene. And eventually, I figured it out, but it was not. I think I did something I was not supposed to do. Like I bypassed, like I jumped.
I didn't. I had nothing.
I had it was still going. Mine was still going. I'm like, I know I messed something up. That's or I thought the enemy got stuck and I couldn't get him, you know. But it's really funny. What a terrible game.
Smeagol, did muscle memory take over for you when you're in this part? Was this kind of like, okay, I'm flowing, I'm vibing, I know what I got to do?
For the most part, yeah.
Nice.
There's a couple times where I had to kind of think about it, like, all right, where was it supposed to go again? But yeah, for the most part, I remember what I was supposed to do.
So finally, I get to chapter 7 right, and I get unstuck, and that's where that's the first like action driving scene. So you're in the Jeep, you've got the grenade launcher. Joel's got his goblet. He's unleashing upon us.
I just want to real quick acknowledge the checks. I see people in there. We're happy you're here, guys. We're talking amongst ourselves, so it's tough to include you. But yeah, this chalice. I'll just mention this real quick. When we started making merch for the dad, I told my team so many times I wanted a chalice, and everybody thought that was so stupid. Anyways, they had this engraved for me, so I have my own chalice.
Why wouldn't you want a chalice? Who doesn't want a chalice?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I chose holy.
I have a mystery science theater cup, like movie theater cup.
That's cool. That's rad. What do you got, Dan?
I just have a black cup of water.
And Smeagol has rabbit entrails he's eating.
Just off camera. Oh.
All right, yeah. So we get to the grenade battle. You're in like again another just big chunk of the game here. So I had a really easy time. I felt like I got stuck before on the Jeep, but I think it was one and done, or maybe I think I might have died once.
Yeah,
but it was
easier this time. It's a fun level too. It's a fun one to do. You're just literally blowing apart these ancient ruins, blowing apart these people. It's just like, and they're all having, hey, this is a good time. Step on it. Woo!
Just destroying like history, lives, and nature all at once. This is great.
All at once.
It is not fun though on the harder difficulties. I will say that much. Oh yeah.
I thought it was cool.
For sure.
I mean, I don't think I died at all on normal, but like so that led me to believe like I wasn't really affecting anything. Like all of these things would have blown up anyway. I don't know. It's good.
It's a good question by Danny in the chat, but they should have submitted it to our to our Facebook page. I don't know. I think it's too deep to get into now, and I haven't played all the Just Causes, by the way. But it's a good question, Danny. I don't know.
I could, the question was just what's the difference or similarities with the games, and like Just Cause is almost cartoony to me, I think, by comparison to.
It's even more silly. Yeah. I've only played a little bit of some, but
Like that's got like the grappling hook and things like that. You do all sorts of wild antics. With this is more like a movie. That's more like a goofy action movie, I think. But yeah,
right.
Smeagol, how do you feel about the river levels where you gotta you're alternating, kind of solving a couple things, shooting some bad guys, but then you're there's like this whole set of chapters here where you're riding up river, dodging. Again, if we want to talk about environmental destruction, where the at least the villains this time, they're just wantonly throwing 50-gallon drums
why?
of God knows
Why
what
all
into the
these
river.
stupid barrels? Makes no sense. I hated those sections, and they are especially annoying on the harder difficulties. Like when I'm playing it on harder difficulties, I'm like doing like a couple inches at a time, getting my gun out to see if someone's there. If not, maybe a couple more inches, because if you start going too fast, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially because then, like again, you get nicked by a bullet. It's over. You're forget that. Like, God.
Yeah, brutal is the one shot and you're dead. Sometimes you might be able to survive one bullet, but that's if you're lucky.
When I first got to the water levels on the Wave Runner or whatever, I was trying to just gun it and go as fast as I could, and I hated it because I wasn't getting anywhere.
The Wave Runner level
and you just take out each part one at a time. Like, it's pretty fun. It's cool.
Yeah, you got that's that thing. You want to go fast on that level though, the Wave Runner, but it's hard to because you got to keep, like you said, you keep just running into shit or something or blowing up.
Drums
It'd be fun
of
to floor.
gasoline and explosives
they're just
floating in water.
Well, I am glad because there's points where you see where there is one of the bad guys just like henchmen throwing the bucket, throwing the 50-gallon drums into the water. I'm like, why would there just be 50-gallon drums in the water? Then you see the guy up there, he's just like, ah! Throwing. Okay, I understand now. I'll allow it.
And I hate to be one of those people that just points out like plot holes and stuff. Those people are the worst. But I think that the way we're pointing it out is because it's hilarious. I like that about it. Actually, it is fun.
Yeah, who had the bright idea? Hey, let's throw a bunch of barrels in the water. Like, what purpose did that serve?
They knew we'd run into them. They knew we'd explode.
It blew me up several times. That's what purpose it served. I know that much.
El Dorado was, had a spell on them or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, we're getting to that. Don't worry. I kind of like. There's so much in between that's just like, yeah, okay, you're going back and forth, and like, oh look, Sully's alive in both the least shocking and least emotionally impactful reveal of the game. I don't know. Like, what was your reaction, Joel? Like, did you just know like he's got to be alive the whole time? Like, you not having played this before, or?
I definitely thought it was a cooler reveal that he was alive than he died. And not because I was happy. I just thought that was a cool little twist. But I never fully believed that he was good. Like they never really drove that home. Like his explanation didn't seem that convincing. It's like he's working with the bad guys, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's just I had to," or something. And he's like, "Oh okay, we're friends again."
He's playing. He's playing possum. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, I thought the reveal that he was back was fine. I just expected that he was still up to no good.
It's a good question from Jay Davies, because I know I kept seeing back and forth because Brian and I I think we were playing pretty comparably as far as pacing was concerned for this game. Smeagol, I don't know if I'm friends with you on here. We got to check that out, but I like seeing the headshot battle between Brian and myself taking place throughout the game.
It's kind of cool when that pops up. I wasn't trying to do it on purpose. Sometimes you just get a headshot, you're like, oh, cool. And it pops up like you've got one more than Dan or something like that, you know?
I love that aspect of it. That's kind of cool.
I
Brian, I like gamifying stuff.
Yes, more games should have that tied to your friends' stats and fun things like that.
Yeah, we all need to make sure we're friends. I think when I was playing, it was me and Brian next to each other in the headshot race. I didn't see you, Dan, so
I just left you in the dust. So
that could be.
It's a few different people. It's fun that kept popping up. I think Jay Davies too, and yeah.
But they answer your question: how many NPC bad guys are there? Hundreds. In the course of this game, we murdered hundreds of people.
Several small islands, entire village, male populations wiped out.
When they send a new camera crew to do a story on the history of this island and they uncover the massacre that happened, they'll be like, what took place here? They'll be so upset because there are thousands of dead bodies all over the place.
The stench of hot jungle
that
death.
are just that they just leave, they just leave there.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt in the morning.
I thought I saw your stats, Jay Davies. Maybe I didn't. I could have sworn I did.
He avoided the stat battle playing on the 3.
He was playing on 3 also. He had to deal with the grenades.
Smeagol won't let the grenades go.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out too. Like, there had to be a way around that. They had to have. I don't know. Maybe not. Oh, please! But I also have to say though, I also threw several grenades at inopportune times because I would slip and hit the front trigger button by accident or forget what I was playing. Too often it happens.
I always think you could pick them up and throw them back at the enemy, but you can't in this one. I think in the later ones you probably can, or maybe it's the same thing with maybe a different game. But I'm like, throw it back. Like, oh, I can't. I need to run.
No, I'm just gonna die. Yeah, it's too late by that point. It's over.
You also have issues with sometimes being stuck behind cover or whatever, and you just can't get away from cover to cover.
Totally. Yes.
Or you jump into the middle, or you're like, I can easily jump over to the next cover, and you just stop in the middle of everything and get lit up. Yeah.
And then that noise when you die, it turns to black and white.
No!
It's a bane of my existence.
And then, well, the funniest part about that too is there's times where, like, I've fallen probably 20 feet and like I landed okay. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I was supposed to do that here. And other points I'm like, oh, it's a 5-foot drop. I can do this. And just
yeah. 5-foot drop into like a little bit of water.
Yeah. It is funny when if it's Elena and she's like, oh my God, no. You're like, what? I didn't mean to do that.
That's the funniest part about the river level. She's riding behind you, you get lit up, and then she's just dead at the same time you are. Like, I guess it's just a bullet sponge for her, but I guess it didn't work. Okay.
And again, not really hating on the plot holes because the death scenes, they make me laugh like 50% of the time.
You become like a rag doll and you just kind of fall down.
No. Every time.
All right. Well, I think it's time we talk about it because you finally, you get Sully back. You manage. He's sending everybody the wrong way but the right way at the same time, and you find your way in. You solve another easy make this picture look like this puzzle, and in you go into the bunker. Yep. Chapter 18 is upon us, gentlemen. The time I just kept dying every day. I would check in the chat, waiting to see where Joel was. I wanted to know had he gotten to 18 and 19 yet.
Yeah. And I mean, I streamed it. You guys wanted to see the big reveal, right? Where it's like, there are zombies in this game, right?
Yeah. That difficulty ramped up.
And then the difficulty ramps up. But the big twist is like, it's not all that realistic. There are undead Spaniards out to get you now. But that actually happens at the end of chapter 17. So we didn't catch it on stream.
Yeah, because you have that first spot there where the other guy gets his throat ripped out, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who's like your mortal enemy, and you just like keep like shooting. Eddie, yeah. And then you're like, now we're gonna team up, and then they like shake hands or something, and then he dies. But
there are parts where you're going. Yeah, there are parts where you're going through that sort of maze with the gears and the flames, and you see, and Nate's like. Yeah, and he's like, what is that? And you see like a little thing. I thought that was kind of cool when you were doing that. Like you knew it was something, but then when you get to what it is, you're like, oh, this is gross. I remember I got scared the first time.
I thought it was coming. I thought it was going to be like a monster of some sort because there was a dead person like tied to a pole or something. He's like, something got him, or someone or something got to him or something. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one of the traps, and there was a guy there, and there was.
Right.
Was some of the different footprints and how they looked weird.
Yes. Yep. I got like 5 minutes, by the way, just letting you go.
But yeah, I got to dip in 12 minutes. But Jay Davey says it's not zombies. Tell us, what are they? Not zombies.
They are spiritually enchanted people with the spirit of El Dorado or something like that. They're just cursed. They're cursed people.
So like
I
zombies.
thought it was just a bacterial infection from
zombies.
sucking in the corpses.
I thought it was a corpse that virus.
Again, Uncharted ahead of its time. It was this early COVID. They just knew what was going on.
They're clickers, right? Aren't those clickers?
Yeah, that's what they were. I thought they were quickers.
Listen, that's
More
basically it. Like, didn't we learn in the 1900s when a bunch of people got sick opening up mummy sarcophaguses? You just don't open a 100-year-old or 1,000-year-old.
Don't do it, guys. Next time you find an old coffin, just leave it. And don't throw a grenade at it either.
Danny says do it.
Fine, it's fine. I mean, they did it in the opening scene. They opened up a coffin, and that was fine.
That's true. The game starts that way.
So like things got wild for me here because again, like it was all pistols for me. I would just pistol headshot, no problem. I could wait it out, and then suddenly, and you saw it. I remember, Joel, you were streaming yours when you were in, the height of this, and like we're telling you in chat, just stop aiming, just run and gun.
Yeah,
Spiegel's doing a great job coaching you. Like, don't bother. Pick the machine gun up and just start firing and running. Don't bother with anything less.
No scope, always. Yeah, and I hadn't done that until that point. I agree. Thank you, Smeagol, for getting me through that. You said shoot from the hip, and it's so true. Like, you just don't aim it on. It would lock on the sights and it would work. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, suddenly
very little sniping in this one. Very little sniping in this game. When you get a sniper, it's cool, but there's very little of that in this game.
Well, yeah, because you get like the dragon sniper, the guns, like you get the Desert Eagle, you get these
only
like
a few times where you need
guns.
it. Yeah,
and then like at that point, like forget it,
okay,
you're done.
Now,
I need 150 rounds of Nazi ammo. Let's go.
I found the pistol to be far more effective than the sniper at the time, anyways.
Half the time it does. Yeah, it's just fun to use a sniper, but yeah, it's a lot of pistol. You can reach some from the same distance with a sniper or a pistol. Pew pew.
Yeah, so like I had kind of repressed this, Brian. I don't remember if you were in the same boat of just like I kind of forgot that it happened at all, even though like I'm sorry, let's be realistic here. It kind of happens in every game. Just to warn you now, there gets to be this point of like some kind of weirdness takes over in the game. But I like repressed it and forgot how hard and brutal it was to play this.
Definitely forgot how hard it was. I didn't see that kind, especially on easy. I was like, I cannot believe how many times I'm dying right here. But I remember what happened. I forgot how hard it was too. Yeah, I guess I can't even imagine. Like Smeagol gets big ups to that.
What's I was going to ask? Like Smeagol, how do you do this on crushing or brutal? Because again, like a bullet grazes you and you're dead. Do these things just look at you and you die of a heart attack, or like how does that work in this part?
Basically, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've done that one on brutal. I only played a little bit of this run on brutal. If I remember correctly, with the first guys, if they pull at you, if they make contact, that's what kills you. So that's like I was telling Joel on when he was streaming it. That's why you just got to run and gun it with those guys. Run and gun it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they take 75 shots to kill on normal, I like
right.
I don't think actually the amount of bullets on them really changes all that much. It's more so how easy it is for you to die, rather than the difficulty of how hard it is to kill them.
Interesting. Okay.
How relieved were you when you finally get to the point though, and the monument, sarcophagus, whatever you want to call it, is there, and like, oh, I see sunlight again for the first time in this game. It's not natural light, right? It's video game light, but I felt so relieved. Like, oh, thank God, at least I get to shoot humans again, and not these murder zombies. At least get to mix it up a little bit. And then the murder zombies start coming out of the water too. But
I did feel
the ending was cool.
The scenic shots in this game, much like Last of Us, and maybe lots of games, but it's just like the backlight of the light coming in, like through the hole in the ceiling as you come out, and then you get on the boat and you get the sunset happening, and then like the colors are coming through. Like if you want to win a gaming photography contest on Channel 3, you screenshot every time there's backlighting, scenic sunsets, nail it.
Yeah.
It did feel a lot like Last of Us scenic shots.
Yeah, they do a great job over there with that stuff, you know.
Final showdowns there. I felt like I died a bunch of times, but at no point did I feel frustrated in the final showdown the way I did through, 18, 19, 20. At any point did I feel the same level of frustration.
It's so funny that the game ends on a quick time event, basically. You know, like you're shooting everything, all of a sudden it's like square, triangle, you win. What? It's like, wait, I just punched this guy and I win after all that.
All right. So did you guys not have trouble the first time you did? Because you knew what to do. But for me, I wasn't charging him immediately. And if
me
you
too.
if you take one step to the left or the right, then you're not fast enough. And I'm like, well, that's clearly not what you do. And then I had to watch somebody on YouTube do it, and I'm like, well, I'm doing it right. I just got to go straight to him and just
go.
Yeah, because he has his pattern where he'll do blind fire, pause a second, and then aim. And if you ever get hit with the aim shot, it's an insta kill.
Yeah. And I got that pretty quick, but it's like you go up there and you punch him a couple of times, and then he throws you off. But then you have to punch him a couple of times again. That last one is the one I couldn't do. And I posted about him, Brian. You're like 8 seconds from beating the game.
You literally what? That was it. That was it.
Right. Yeah.
It's literally the last thing you have to do. It's done.
Yeah.
Couple of punches.
How many tries did it take you, Joel?
I mean, I don't know, 20, 30.
That's not bad.
But
no shame.
I looked it up.
It's fine.
But I looked it up. So, I probably would have taken me more than that if I didn't look it up.
It's not the most intuitive if it's not something, you just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
You just want to get to 2.
So
2 is great.
So, and we could discuss this now. So, Joel, kind of coming back and asking the question. So, you get through this one. Are you excited to take a look at the rest of the series in the future? We discussed we need a little break. We're gonna get back into Uncharted 2.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like I'm maybe hating on the game in some ways, but I actually really, really enjoyed it. And I respect it for its time. And I definitely anticipate the rest of the series just continuing to build on that and keep getting better. So no, I am excited. To get back into it and continue. I will finish them all. I own them,
nice.
So I will.
I'm sure somebody will prove me wrong and say that it's not the first, but like for me, this was the first game of this type. This was the first like cinematic game, and I had to keep putting myself back in. Like, go back to 2007 when these games did not exist. There was not a game. This,
Yeah, I wouldn't even call like GTA 3 or 4 even something like this. Like they're just different. That's like missions and this and that. This was a full, like you said, it's cinematic movie. It was a movie video experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it freaking rules,
Yeah.
Where does 2 rank all time for you, Smeagol? I think that's one of your all timers, right?
Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite games. And as far as the series, I would say 2, 4, 3, 1, and then Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy is awesome. Have you played the PS Vita one, by the way?
No, I have not.
It's really good. Really good. Hopefully they can remaster it one day or something like that, but it's a great game.
If they had it on like PlayStation itself, I would love to play. I just never had a PlayStation handheld, so.
So
that's what I'm saying. If they remaster it for like consoles, that'd be cool. They should. They remaster everything. They remaster everything.
So, Smeagol, you said 2, 4, 3, 1, Lost Legacy. Is Lost Legacy 5?
It's like a 10-hour DLC, which is very good. I actually think it's better. I think it's better than Smeagol thinks. I would do 2.
Be better than 1. It's probably around there between. I have a hard time deciding between 1 and Lost Legacy.
Yeah, it's cool. They're all good though.
Oh yeah.
But
2 is for me is the pinnacle of the series.
2 is excellent. 2 is absolutely great. Yeah.
So I know everybody's running out of time. Any parting thoughts, Smeagol? You want to kick off the parting thoughts?
I'll say for those watching, if you haven't played this series, I can't recommend enough. I mean, you've heard some of the discussion of this one. I mean, there are some rough edges with this first one, but the series only picks up, and it is just an absolute masterpiece of a series. You will not regret playing it.
Yeah, it's kind of like from here. It's kind of like Mission Impossible movies, where that's the one where he climbs the building. That's the one where he does the halo jump. That's the one where he jumps off the mountain on the motorcycle. That you got that for the rest of these games
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and 3 and 4 do stuff like that too. You know, they do all this.
Oh,
there's
the
always a
plane,
cool thing in
the
it.
plane in 3.
Well, and the truck scene in 4 when you're driving around, or is that 3? I think it's 4. Is awesome.
it's
So
4,
there's
yeah.
a lot of cool stuff.
No
Yeah, it's
spoilers.
great
La
stuff.
la la la.
No
can
spoilers.
You'll see. You'll see.
It's a great series. Great series. Great game. Everybody go play it.
Brian, any
You know?
parting thoughts?
I think it's awesome. I'm glad we did this. It was fun to redo it again. I think it might be my 3rd or 4th time I actually finished Uncharted 1, which I usually don't do that often. But it was fun to go back and revisit it again, you know, and to beat you in headshots.
We'll check the stats. Check the leaderboard. I'm not sure that that's true. We'll get back to you guys.
So Joel is officially caught up to 2007's PlayStation 3 experience. How do you feel?
Oh man, it was good. Like, I get why why the series is a classic. I get it. I'm into it. Respect it. Excited for number 2, especially the opening scene, which I heard is one of the greatest of all time.
All right.
Brian, say hi to your parents for us.
I will. They'll be here like in a minute. I gotta go let them in. I locked them out.
Thanks for making time, man.
This is awesome.
Yeah, Dan, thanks for hosting. The other thing I was saying is like this idea is all Brian McGuinness. He came up with a video game book club idea, and it's incredible. Let's keep this
Like a year ago, and you were like, "No, loser."
Do we want to tell people what won the poll? Do we want to?
I was like, Brian, I'd love to do that, but first we need to code the functionality to have clubs in Channel 3.
Right.
But
True.
took a while.
I'm gonna say
Dan.
peace, y'all.
See you,
See ya.
Brian.
Ratchet and Clank for the win. Ratchet and Clank, yeah.
Cheers,
Bye, guys.
And that's that. I think, Joel, that looks like Ratchet and Clank 2016. That's where we're going next. So boot it up, people.
I'm into it. 2016. We're going like almost a decade into the future. That's cool.
Smeagol, we'll be back for Uncharted 2. Fear not. Fear not. We'll be there.
Oh, can't wait.
Gentlemen, I think we'll call it there. Thanks everybody for your time, and have a great day.
Have a good one, guys. Have a good weekend.
You guys.